Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another lesson. Lesson 12 of using Python and Blender to uh, make this model. Last lesson, we started on making this camera. So this lesson we're gonna finish it. So before, actually, let's start now. So right now, you see that this camera is facing downwards. So when we uh, do this, it just looks at the floor and not the animation. And you may be wondering, why is this? We put like the keyframes and defined them. Well, last lesson we defined them, but we didn't actually use them. So that's, yeah. But it's actually pretty easy. So just for F, P, R, and keyframes. Cam, the location was P, rotation equals R, then cam dot keyframe insert location. Frame is F, cam dot keyframe insert rotation Euler, because we're rotating this. Frame is F. So basically we're just applying the keyframes from up here. Also, look at this, I spelled scene wrong. Snee. Okay. Here. Rotation Euler. So I should have done this last time, but I didn't, so sorry about that. Alright. So now when we run it, there's gonna be an error. Oh wait, it's not, it's rotation Euler. Sorry. Or rotation Euler, not rotation. Now, yeah, now it works. And now, okay, see now the camera, once we change it, pause, once we change the domain to wire, you can see, look, the bright part is where it looks. You can see that you just look at the the whole model. Then just wait until frame 28, if you remember from last time. Actually, I can open. It just turns to where you can see these valves turning, right? Yeah. So we're going to code the rest of the cameras in here, like the camera angles and stuff, in this lesson. So this is all I need to see because that's all we've done. So I'll just pause it, go back to scripting. Alright, now I'll just show this very well drawn thing. So position C, rotation C, and then I'll have this. It's actually pretty simple after these two, so that's why it's split like this. It's pretty easy and simple. However, this thing is very laggy, so. Oh. I still haven't paused it yet. Okay, now I've paused it. It should be better now. Right now. Now keyframe hide render on the domain. So we make sure that the domain, the box on the outside, it's hidden when you look at the camera. And once we run this and it goes to the camera, it's like not gonna look like it's disappearing, but when we like render it, you can see that it actually is gone and disappeared. So hidden before from start domain dot key hide render equals true domain dot keyframe insert data path equals hide render frame is 1, so it's hidden, and then we're gonna make it visible again when the water comes out, because if you know that the big box on the outside disappears when the water comes out visible. When the start simulation, by the way, for the water domain dot hide render equals false domain dot keyframe insert data path equals hide render frame is when the closing of the frame starts, which is also when it starts overflowing. Okay. Now we're going to create lots of space, so we know it's like there's so we know that they're like two different parts. New camera movement for valve for pump and gauges. So we're just telling it like the angles and positions when we want to showcase animations 2, 3, 4, 5 with the thing. So valve for pump and gauges, they're on those things. So compute view C valve for plus pump position C is vector the vector 0.4 -4 3, so that's the position of the camera. Then the names of the things that you want to look: valve for handle and the pressure pump. So you want to see the pressure pump and the valve for handle over here. So let's go zoom in like somewhere over here, just so you can see both of them and the gauge, because if you can see both of them, you can see this thing. And yeah. Okay, so now we know the names, or like what we want to focus on for this. We can use that to determine the angle. I mean, the rotation is in the angle camera, the function we defined earlier, using all of those things. Now, compute view D, which is the test vessel over here. So view D is the test vessel. And actually, those are all the views we need, because even there are more animations after 4, which is this, and 4 and 3, which is this vessel, along with the gauges, the drain pump, and stuff. They're all around the same place, which is over here and over here. So that's why we only need these two views to be able to view them. So, yeah, animation 45 about gauge, needles, and drain valve, which is on the vessel. So, alright, now let's code view D. Position D is vector 3.5, data 2.5, 1.85. I spelled vector. The names, well, all we need is to capture the test vessel. Hence, that's like one of the only things we need. Since most things are attached to it. And then position D in the names to get the rotation. Now we only need the keyframes, which is like the only long part of this final piece of code we need. Keyframes equals, alright, shoot animation 2, valve for opening and gauge H2, needle turning. Valve for opening, start frame -1, it starts there. Position C, rotation C. So you'll notice that we just make everything, the camera turn like a frame or two before the animation actually happens or ends. I'm actually going to copy this because it's going to appear a lot in this long chunk of code we're going to write. Shoot animation 3. It's going to be a gauge vessel, needle turning. Oops. Wait. Alright, sorry, my bad for that. I didn't know what I just did there, but anyways, let's just replace this, with gauge, vessel, needle, turn, start, and we're gonna do this, we need turn end for this one. Actually, we don't need to copy that at all, just vessel, needle, turn, end. And actually, if you look on the timeline, this is, oh yeah, we also have to replace this with position D, rotation D. Alright, and position D, rotation D, the first time we actually wanted 181 over here, this is turn end, so wax 1 at 30 frames after. Alright, now we actually go back to rotation C. So animation 4, valve 4 closing. So this is valve 4 closing start frame. It's this time it's position C in rotation C, which is good because we want position C rotation C. And it's gonna end and actually 1 frame after gauge H2, I think. Yeah, it's 1 frame after gauge H2 needle. So we got this correct. Let's shoot animation 5, turn on the drain valve. So drain valve open, start frame -1, position D, rotation D, and alright, and we don't need an end frame for this because, well, we don't have it end frame. This is the last animation, so after this, well, it's frame 350, the end. We don't need it. And now we just need to copy this part and paste it in here to set it, and we are actually done. We're if not for the error. Okay. Keyframe, valve closing. Oh, start frame, not valve closing start. And I forgot the S in position C, which means I did for everything over here. Alright, so now that it works, you can see the camera already moving around as I go. So let's go to camera view, and you can still see that it's you still see the domain, but if once you render it, you won't be able to see it existing. So yeah, we have to turn it to wire, but once you render it using render animation and stuff, you won't see it even if you display as solid, which is what it's supposed to be. And now, okay, you see it's pretty clean and stuff, but very laggy. However, it works, and you can always extend you can see it's very slow, but you can always extend the keyframes back into scripting if you want to change it and make it like the animation how you want. But so that's it for this lesson. We've completed the camera. Bye.